This video was produced by The Top Cut. Be sure to check out thetopcut.net, your home for Pokemon TCG, tournament coverage, professional game analysis, and interviews with the best players in the world. Thanks for watching.
Hello everyone, this is Josue, Crimz, Rojano, and with me is Kyle, Pooka, Sucevich, and we are bringing you a match from the Philadelphia, Pennsylvania Regionals, and this is the top 16 between Chen and Kyle Sabelhaus.
It sure is. Now, these two players have a bit of history. Chen on the left, he actually is doing very well in terms of championship points. He's at 49 points right now, so he is definitely up there, one of the top people in North America. And Kyle Sabelhaus, no slouch himself. He has been a multiple-time Worlds competitor, and he's won quite a few tournaments, so this should be a very good matchup.
And he's looking fresh with his Team Bertoli shirt, so
He sure is. Looks
he
like
might have the upper edge right here.
Looks like there's a slice of pizza on his shirt. Is that what I see?
I have no idea what that is, to be honest.
Guess we'll find out.
Yeah, and we already know that their decks are going to be identical. Well, not identical, but they're going to be a mirror match of sorts, with Selby, Mewtwo, Tornadus being the base of their decks.
Yeah, it's a Selby, Mewtwo, Tornadus mirror match, and I mean it's 50-50 obviously, but I would give the edge to Sam because it looks like he's going to go first. Would you agree?
No, actually, I'm going to give the edge to Kyle. And Sam disagrees with me, apparently, because he shoos at the camera. No, obviously, if you go first, you have a huge advantage. And that's, I mean, honestly, that's true with pretty much most of these matchups in this format. And specifically, more importantly, in a mirror match. Oh. So we're taking a look at Kyle's hand and Sam's as well. They both actually, well, there's a poke here from Sam. I didn't actually get to see Kyle's very well, though.
Looks like both of these players are very well aware that they're on camera. So
they're playing for the camera too.
Looks like we'll get a bit of personality in this match, which is always a good thing.
Sam's actually kind of saying, kind of giving the, oh man, I don't know what kind of a shape I'm in face.
It's that or the, man, I am really tired right now. I should have went to bed earlier last night.
Ah, yeah. I'm sure we've all had that kind of a day.
Yep, been there plenty of times. So right now we do have quite a bit of downtime. Looks like they're just waiting for the match to start. So hopefully that gets started up soon. So I guess we have some downtime. You have played the CMT deck more than I have. Have you ever played the mirror match? And what do you think the important thing is to do in the mirror match?
I'd be surprised if I've played the CMT deck more than you have, but I've definitely played it more in tournaments. Yeah, I mean the mirror match is actually a little bit different. Obviously going first is a huge advantage, and just being able to attach as many energies in play is a really big deal. And obviously, if you don't give Mewtwo's in play like Sam unfortunately has right now, then you're going to be in much better shape than your opponent if he does, because you can control when the Mewtwo's trade and when they don't.
Okay, now I feel like the biggest part in this mirror match is whoever gets the first attack off almost always wins. So the first person to get Hurricane first usually ends up with a huge advantage. I mean, N can change that, but it just seems like it's straightforward. First person to attack wins. Do you agree with that or no?
Well, there's always going to be that, I shouldn't say always, but there's sometimes going to be that situation where neither player can really take prizes very easily. Of course, you cap out at 80 damage, and unless you start attacking with Mewtwo. So there's just going to be a lot of situations where you start trading tornadoes. And what you want to do as a player is you want to try to avoid those situations as much as possible and really save your Pokemon catchers to try to knock out some spare Celebes or maybe even Smeargles, something like that, in order to be able to take a prize a turn. If your opponent ever stalls there and you win second, that's your perfect advantage. Your situation where you can actually start coming back. And we actually see an N from Sam, by the way. So Sam might not have the best start, honestly, because we still don't see a Tornadus out of him, and I believe he attached a double colorless to the Mewtwo.
Yeah, he's got a double colorless on the Mewtwo, and he put a grass on the Celebi. So, how do you feel about just going all out with Mewtwo already? I mean, he's putting his Mewtwo in quite a bit of danger, putting a double colorless on it. Do you think that's worth it?
I am never going to be a fan of that. The only time where you're ever going to actually want to do that is when you have no other options, when your Tornadus is just not going to be there, because it's so easy to knock out a Mewtwo that has a double colorless on it already. Kyle, I mean, well, maybe not with this start, but with most starts, Kyle can definitely get a Mewtwo with 3 energies on it, or even a Mewtwo with a double colorless and a plus power is all it needs. So I'm just not a fan of attaching energies to the Mewtwo unless you absolutely have to. And I'm sure Sam feels the same way. He just felt like he needed to get some sort of energy presence on the board in case he couldn't get a Tornadus out this turn, which doesn't seem like it's going to be a problem either way.
Yeah, definitely the defining part of this mirror match is when Mewtwo comes into play, because honestly it seems like it will eventually. You only run so many Tornadus, and Mewtwo's just too strong not to get out eventually, so it's just going to be who gets more Mewtwo's, I guess, who gets more powered up, and who can survive N, and who can take the most prizes without using Mewtwo.
Exactly. That's the biggest deal.
Right.
If you can take the most prizes without using Mewtwo, you're going to be in great shape. And Kyle kind of does a fist pump. Not sure why. But yeah, either way, that's going to be the defining thing in the matchup, in my opinion, is just if you can go the longest without playing down Mewtwo and still taking your prizes, then you're probably going to be in much better shape than your opponent if he's starting to use Mewtwo's early. So we'll have to see what happens here. He brings down a Celebi and a Tornadus here. My guess is that he didn't have a Smeargle. I have no idea. There's got to be a reason why Kyle fist pumped.
The reason why I think is because Sam dual balled for 2 Pokemon and he didn't take a Shaman. But Sam had the Shaman in his hand, so now he just got the Hurricane anyway.
Good point. So yeah, we do see a. Well, Kyle's definitely not in good shape. I don't know what else I can say about this. He's attaching an energy to the Tornadus, so I'm going to assume some sort of a... I don't know. He's bringing down a Mewtwo, playing an Eviolite on it, which is fine. What do you think he's doing here? I mean, obviously his plan right now is just to...
Well, he's got nothing, so he's just going ahead and retreating to Smeargle and using Portrait, and he was fortunate enough that Sam had the Juniper, so...
Do you feel like he should have brought down the Mewtwo?
Yeah, I actually don't mind putting down Mewtwo if you can have an Eviolite on him. That's relatively safe. Putting a Mewtwo down with an energy on it, that's when it gets dicey, but when he's got an Eviolite, then your opponent needs 5 energy to knock it out, which isn't too likely. So I think putting the Mewtwo down is okay there. In general, not a good idea, but I don't mind this one.
By the way, I don't think the energy on the Mewtwo on the bench is actually a double colorless. I think it's a grass. I got a better look at it right now.
Yeah, he used Hurricane and moved it.
Oh, yeah, you're right. He used a Shaman. My bad. All right, so we do see a Celebi, or 2 Celebis come down from Kyle, which is pretty much what he wants. He needs to get that energy acceleration as early as next turn if possible. Unfortunately, that Smeargle, unless he plays a switch, is going to be taken out this turn. Nice play by bringing up the Mewtwo with the catcher. At that point, you're going to force Sam to either attack with the Mewtwo or be fortunate enough to have a switch here.
Yeah, or best case, you scare him enough into retreating. I don't know if he'll do that, but yeah, I like catching up the Mewtwo there. Even if Sam does put down a Sky Arrow Bridge, that would force him to have another energy to attack, and then you force him to discard one. So yeah, definitely a good play on the catcher. But if you're Kyle, like what do you do from here? Your opponent went first, and he did 80 on the first turn, and you couldn't do much on your first turn. So what's going through your head at this point?
If I'm Kyle here, honestly, I'm just trying to find a way to stabilize. With no energy in play, it's obvious that he's on the back foot right now. He's just trying to find a way to not fall too far behind in the prize race. And like I mentioned, if you can start knocking out Celebes while your opponent can't knock out your Pokemon, like if he's doing 80 to your Tornadus while you're taking prizes, then you're probably going to get back in this game. That's his best bet here. And he plays a plus power, has a Mewtwo active. I'm not really sure what he's trying to do here. My guess is obviously he's just playing it in the rare case that he actually pulls this off, but he's going to be trying to get a boatload of energy onto this Mewtwo and getting a surprise knockout on the Mewtwo, on his opponent's Mewtwo, but I don't know if that's too likely to happen here.
Yeah, I think it's more of a well, plus power isn't really that useful in this matchup, so I don't want to draw it again when I play my Oak's New Theory, so might as well get rid of it. And then if I really need it later, I can always junk arm. So I actually don't mind playing the plus power here.
Yeah, and it is relatively useful against another Mewtwo KO if you don't have the 5th energy. But it's not all that useful otherwise.
Right, and then there's the outlandish scenario where he somehow gets like Switch, Sky Arrow Bridge, Grass, Double Colorless, and he could pull off a Miracle X-Ball here. That would be one way for him to really swing this game around, but pretty unlikely.
Yeah, and he's taking a long time, so I doubt the Team Bertolli member is going to be able to pull this one, this knockout off.
Probably not.
He does have a switcher, but he retreats switches for the Smeargle, which means he's going to be, well, I guess he's going to be still trying to go for it here. He's got a pretty large hand, and I'm always a little bit cautious or worried that I'm going to run into a Professor Juniper if I've got a handful of junk arms or something. But in this case, I don't think he's got support. Oh, yeah, he does. He's got a Juniper and a Pawn. So he's showing him his hand.
Oh, he's actually deciding to use the Juniper instead of the Oak's New Theory.
That's interesting. He really is going to be trying to go for this knockout, I think.
Yeah, he is going for it. And I don't think...
I think Sam's kind of like playing with it, playing around a little bit with this, going like, "Oh man, you're really going for this? Don't get lucky." But it doesn't look like Kyle got lucky because again, he's taking his time and normally a player would make this play immediately if he did find a way to get a lucky knockout here.
Right now,
whoa, he plays the double colorless on the Mewtwo. This is strange to me. If he doesn't take a prize here, this is a really strange play to me because it's such an easy knockout for his opponent here.
Yeah, I'm sure he's got some way to take a prize here. Kyle's experienced enough to know that you shouldn't just put a double colorless on a Mewtwo for no reason. So I'm sure he's got some plan for this. And it looks like he's got a switch. Maybe he's got a catcher for the Tornadus. And there's a junk arm. So
okay, that's pretty good.
Yeah, this will force Sam to have a grass and a double colorless in order to knock out his own Mewtwo in response. He also takes 3 energy off the field for Sam, so it really eliminates all of Sam's energy. He's going to have to commit everything to one Mewtwo, and that'll be tough for him to keep up trading Mewtwos in the future, I think.
Yeah, I do agree with that. It depends on how many Mewtwos Sam actually runs, but either way, I definitely agree with this situation, and he found a way to kind of get himself out of this hole that he was in originally. Obviously, it took a little bit of help from Sam's poor turn the turn before, but he's definitely back in this, and that's what matters.
Yeah, I would say he's back in this. I think we're going to
see a double colorless. He's thinking about playing the double colorless. He's not sure, but yeah, he should play this here and not take this knockout on the Mewtwo. Otherwise, it's just going to get too strong.
Right, yeah. He's just got to play the double colorless, take the knockout here. And I think Kyle's situation is still fairly bad. Even though he did take the first prize, Sam's going to take the prize lead here, and then it'll turn into Kyle having no energy on his field whatsoever. Still don't see a Sky Arrow Bridge in play from either player, so there's no free retreating going on, and it's really going to limit Kyle's options to get a knockout next turn.
Yeah, there's no shot for Kyle other than to get a Mewtwo knockout here. Even if he does get some sort of a Tornadus knockout with like maybe knocking out a Celebi or something. There's a dual ball from Sam, by the way. And he's still not going to be in the best of shape, and he's still going to be on the back foot. So in order for him to really start the comeback trail, he needs to keep knocking out Mewtwo's here, even if it doesn't seem very productive. So we see a Regigigas. No, he gets...
It was a Regigigas, but he decided to grab Mewtwo instead.
Smart man.
So we can see now that Sam indeed does play 3 Mewtwo's, and they will be in a full-fledged war here between Mewtwo's, and everybody's going to have plenty of ammo, apparently.
Yeah, I like this play from Sam. He obviously has 4 prizes left. He knows that his opponent has to start knocking out Mewtwo's, and he's going to be able to just win that war this way because he's already got all the Mewtwo's in place, so he can't get into a situation where he's just going to be in really poor shape. So we'll have to see what happens here, but I like Sam's position a lot. And we see an N from Kyle, so Sam's going to go down to 4 cards here, which is obviously not good, but still going to be in good shape.
Yeah, I think this is a great situation for Sam. Just seeing after he got that knockout, there's no energy from Kyle on the field. and then all he does is play an N immediately. So he's going to be down to 5 cards. He's going to need to draw pretty much perfect 5 cards in order to even get a knockout here. So if you're Sam, you got to be feeling good about your situation. And if you're Kyle, you just got to be praying you draw Mewtwo, double colorless, switch.
Yeah, the good news for Kyle is that these games actually go really quick. The Celebi Mewtwo Tornadus matchup is one of the faster matchups we have in this format, the mirror matchup anyways. And that just means that you're probably going to get a full 3 games in, unless one of these games happens to stall for a while. But this doesn't look like it's going to be the case here, and the game should end in the next few turns. And that's good for Kyle, because if he does end up losing, then he's not going to be in a spot where he's forced to scoop early or anything like that. He can just play these games full and see if he can pull anything off.
Yeah, that's definitely correct. Once Mewtwo hits the field, these games are over in like 3 or 4 turns. So that's certainly what we're going to see here. And Kyle does grab a Mewtwo, so we'll see if he can pull something off here. But as he uses Portrait and looks at Sam's hand, he sees 3 grass and a switch. So Kyle will not be able to use Portrait for a supporter. And I think that's going to end his turn.
Yeah, is that a switch from the base set? That is really awesome. That is really, really awesome.
Sam's actually got a ton of old school cards. Look at that dual ball. It's all the way from Expedition, I think. He's got the base set switch in his hand. This guy's got, the base set plus power, too. This guy's got everything.
Yeah, I'm wondering if obviously it seems like he's an old school player. I never really heard of him back in the day, but now I'm actually kind of interested in seeing if he actually played competitively back then.
I've heard from people who are friends with Sam that he has been around for a while. He's been playing for a bit. He took a bunch of time off, though. He has been playing for the past, 4 or 5 years or something like that. And this is his first full competitive season back. So that's why you're starting to hear about him now. He's obviously a good player, and he's been doing very well this season. And an interesting stat about him is he has 49 championship points and only 30-something play points, which means he has barely gone to any events. But when he goes, he does well or wins almost all of them.
Yeah, whoa, man, this is really impressive. If he is just recently back, then obviously welcome back, Sam. Yeah, he's making his mark right here in the top cut in Philly. But obviously he's playing against a really good player in Kyle Sabelhaus. This guy is no slouch by any means, and he's more than carrying his own weight. So I'm glad to see that there's more competitive players that I haven't heard of.
Yeah. Now on the last turn, Sam did get a knockout on the Smeargle, which was big for 2 reasons. The first one is he took a 2-prize lead, which when you get into a Mewtwo war, this is exactly what you want. You just want a 2-prize lead. You're going to feel extremely safe the rest of the game. The other thing is he knocked out Smeargle, so he took out Kyle's way to really stabilize in case of a bad hand. So Kyle's going to have trouble recovering from N later on because that Smeargle did get knocked out.
Did we see any heads from the dual ball, by the way?
Nope, that was 2 tails. So.
All right.
And something interesting I want to note is Kyle actually discarded his Sky Arrow Bridge with Junk Arm. He actually opted not to play it. He favored Junk Arming for a switch instead of giving Sam the free retreat. And then he tells Sam which Celebi to promote.
That's funny.
So I just want to point out that neither of these players have played the Sky Arrow Bridge the entire game. So they realize how powerful it is, and they actually just don't want to give it to the other player.
Yeah, I'm fine with that, by the way. I think that's a very smart play by...
Did you catch that Pokegear for the Regigigas EX?
No, I didn't. I was just talking. Oh, man, that's funny. Yeah, these guys have some good charisma. That's pretty cool.
Sorry, I had to interrupt you for that one, but continue.
No. My train of thought's gone.
Yeah, we saw the Pokegear. He got the Regigigas EX, full art, mind you, which he then had to shuffle back in. But looks like he'll play an Oak's New Theory, and he's going to hope for a switch or a Sky Arrow Bridge here.
He plays the Sky Arrow, so finally we see a Sky Arrow played. And yeah, like I was trying to say, now I remembered. It's smart to be able to hold your Sky Arrow as long as possible until you absolutely need to, because as long as your opponent's going to be in a situation where if your opponent is in a situation where he actually needs it but doesn't have access to it, You're not going to be doing him any favors there. And it's just smart. It's just smart play as long as you can avoid it. Don't get carried away with it, but it's kind of nice. So we see heads out of the duel ball. I believe just one. I'm not sure if he got the second.
Nope, just one. So we'll see. Will he grab the fabled Regigigas EX this time?
Oh, now he's just getting sneaky. I'd like to see that Regigigas just to get it out of the deck already. But it's fine. He gets a Smeargle, as it might have some utility.
Seems a little better at this point than good old Regigigas. Maybe we'll see him at a later point, though.
Do you feel like Kyle has any sort of a chance to be able to win this game still?
He does. If he does, it'll all be an N. If he has an N in his hand, he's gonna need to have a miracle hand. I think he has like 2 cards in his hand. He actually literally has 2 because he took 2 prizes. So he needs an N, which he does not have. So I think that answers your question.
All right. So yeah, Kyle realized that he was not in good shape, and Sam obviously knew that he wasn't.
Check that out. Base set revive.
No way. No way. I have not seen that thing in forever.
So Sam has everything as old as possible.
Oh man, I didn't even remember that card existed. That card was terrible back in the day.
It sure was. But I guess that'll wrap up the first game.
Yeah, that's game 1. Sam takes a 1-game lead, and stay tuned to see if Kyle can pull off an upset here.
Yeah, we'll be right back for game 2.